weapons pointing down the range. Load! Down!
To meet the Soviet threat, our units are rapidly occupying their battle positions.
Time spent in preparation is always time well spent, often lives well saved, sometimes even the difference between success and failure.
Particularly in harsh environments like the desert where you've got heat and dirt.
Today is going to be all about weapons maintenance. Everything that you need to know to maintain your weapon in the field, along with the items and some tips and tricks to help you do it. So how does your weapon in the field differ to when you're on the range or at home? Well, as always, the 5 firearm safety rules apply, but there's going to be some additional things we're going to want to consider when handling our weapons in the field. Now, it's a lot harder to keep muzzle awareness, especially around other people when you're moving over terrain. So always be aware, make sure that your weapon is on safe, and best you can, be aware of where that muzzle is pointing. When it comes to our muzzle, we want to keep the muzzle out of the dirt as well. We want to keep our dust cover closed, and we want to keep our magazine inserted. We want to stop dirt and muck from getting inside the rifle. Along with this, other considerations when we're in the field is going to be how we maintain our weapon. When we're at home or going to the range, we have many options when it comes to tools, cleaning materials. If we have to, we can run to the store. In the field, this isn't an option. Oftentimes, if not always, we're carrying our cleaning kits on us. So we're limited to what we can bring. I'm going to show you guys my field cleaning kit, as well as some tools and tips that can help you maintain your weapon in your team or on yourself as well. When it comes to weapon maintenance in the field, we want to remember that we're going to have to carry everything that we need to maintain these firearms. So be it your personal firearms, like your main weapon or your sidearm, or crew-served weapons, either you as an individual, hopefully you're with a team, your team is going to have to carry everything to maintain that weapon. Now at home, if we need something, we can go to the store. We have many options available. But in the field, it's going to be a lot more limited. Especially, we're not going to be using our cleaning kits often, so these are very commonly overlooked, as they can get bulky, they can get heavy, especially when it comes to spare parts, which we'll talk about. So we want to remember that if we're working in a team, utilize that team aspect. Only a few guys may need to carry a cleaning kit or lubricants or specialty tools. The whole squad doesn't need to carry those things. So just some extra stuff to consider. So with that, let's get out my field cleaning kit. Let's take off some of this equipment and let's go through everything that I have in my personal cleaning kit and stuff for you to consider when it comes to options and things and items that you should have. Now, again, this is what works for me. Everything's different. Environment, training level, weapon type. All those things are going to play into this. So as always, guys, use this as a guideline, not a strict rule or gospel. Right, I've got my mat set up, no point in my knees hurting. So right here, I've got my rifle cleaning kit. It has taken me, honestly, since I've been shooting to come up with this. Everything changes, you realize what you need, what you don't need. Again, depending on the weapon that you're using. When I've got my AK, my MP5, I've got to use totally different tools. I mean, the MP5 requires like 5 different tools to clean the bloody thing. AR-15, though, is what we're going to be focusing on today. M16, M4 platform rifles. So again, this is, I can't remember who makes this. It's basically a cleaning pouch. It's pretty big, in terms of how they go, but let's open it up and go through everything inside. So we got a rifle cleaning kit right here. Again, it's a little bit big. I can't remember who makes this one. You can downsize, you can upsize, depending on what you need. The longer you're going to be in the field, the more cleaning supplies you're going to need as well. So opening it up. So if I've got to recommend two things, well, three things that you need for a rifle cleaning kit, it's right here. That is it. Well, lubricant like CLP, a toothbrush, and paper towels and Q-tips. If you don't want to go out and spend money on a kit and you literally want to do what's at home, go get some CLP, Clean, Lubricate, Protect. It's an acronym. Many different companies make them. Go get some CLP, a toothbrush, Q-tips, and paper towels. With that, you can pretty much clean a rifle. You know, a rifle pull through would be your next thing. But with that, you can do the most basic field maintenance. So starting off in the kit, I've got obviously the toothbrush. These are great. Medium or hard bristles, but honestly, toothbrush does great and you don't feel bad about going out buying fancy brushes. Next up, I've got in a plastic bag to waterproof it. I've got just normal paper towels, kitchen towels, guys. I've got rifle for 5.56, rifle cloths and Q-tips, and I've got a good amount of them, and we'll go into that later. Next up, I've got a brass brush. Now this is for scraping off carbon, your brass brush. This one is for applying lubricant and just kind of like brushing off dirt and shit, right? But this one is for actually scraping off carbon. Now you want to be careful with these. You can see that the bristles like to split. I've had this one a while, taken decent care of it, but you don't want to take off your coatings, and this is what this metal one will do. Now, when it comes to these, this is a HK one, don't cheap out on these. The reason is that you get these really, really cheap ones that aren't copper. If I said brass, I apologize. But they're not copper. And what they are is they're steel coated with copper. And what will happen is that steel, you don't want steel on steel when you clean guns, because it's going to damage your firearm. A good rule of thumb is whatever you clean your rifle with has to be a softer metal than the metal of the rifle. So obviously copper is softer than steel or aluminium, like our receivers, but you want it to be a softer material. That way you don't damage the metallurgy or the coatings. So after that, we got our brushes. So that's how we're going to take stuff off. Gloves, you know, they can be these or whatever you're shooting ones. It's nasty chemicals. Carbon's not good for you. So you want a good pair of gloves. Either just normal medical gloves or your shooting gloves that I'm wearing now. After that, you've got your rifle pull through or bore snake. I'm a big fan of these. This is real easy. You can put it, you know, a tiny, tiny kit, and then you can just put paper towel with a blob of lubricant, pull this through, and then that's going to clean your rifle. And this kit right here is honestly the bare minimum that you need. Paper towels, a toothbrush, and a rifle pull through. That's it. Again, some lubricant, like CLP. This is a little range, kind of pocket type. You can have a guy in the squad carry a whole bottle of CLP, like a, I don't know, like a 16 milliliter or whatever they are. But yeah, these you can get at gun stores. You can get you can get greases, you can get CLP, you can get low temperature CLPs for winter operations. But yeah, lubricant, a toothbrush, and some towels, and a rifle pull through. Right there is your most basic kit. All this stuff just helps. But if you're looking, if you're on a budget and you want the mere basics, you want to pack light, that's all you need. So we've got that done. We went over the CLPs. I like CLP. There's tons of different lubricants out there, hops. Find what works for you. They all promise to do everything. They don't do everything. So after this is going to be a step up from your rifle pull through. This is going to be your cleaning rods and brushes. So same as before. This one, I can't remember who makes this one, but you've got your Christmas tree bore brush. So that's, sorry, your chamber brush, that's for your chamber. You've got your rifle brush, and then obviously your pull through for our cleaning, our little cleaning squares. Then you've got the meat and potatoes. Now I've gone through 100 of these collapsible pull-throughs. They're all different. They all got pros and cons. This one is by far the best. I'm going to put the manufacturer below. It's not cheap. It was about 50 bucks, but it is the best quality one I've ever found. And they just screw together like so. You put this one on. There you go. So what this does is it tightens on, and then we can actually, so see how it's free spinning? That's on purpose, because as this goes down your rifle bore, you actually want this to rotate, because it's going to be cleaning with the rifling, right? If you come fucking plowing in there, like I know some of you guys do, you know, instead of like twisting down, it's going to damage your rifling, so you want something that can twist, right? So that's freely moving. Now, if you want to lock it for the Christmas tree, this one you want to get in there and grind away. You can actually lock it, and now it spins as one, and then you can unlock it with this little guy here, and now you can see that it's free spinning. So again, I'll put the link for the description of that below. I'm not affiliated with them. I can't even remember the company name off the top of my head, but that one's by far the best that I've found, and I absolutely love it. I use it on all my firearms. Again, guys, when it comes to, you know, these ball brushes, that's steel and then copper, copper, and you want to be careful. We use this probably every 500 rounds just to get out the dirt. We don't use it every time. And again, good brass components, soft metals. Remember, we always want to clean our rifle with harder metals. This is a good quality one. You can tell as you start to use it, it keeps its color. It doesn't have that steel. You can see there's some rifle fluff in there. So that's it, guys. That is the rifle cleaning kit. We've got our rifle pull-throughs. We've got our bore snake, CLP, a toothbrush, something to scrape carbon off with, and then our Q-tips, paper towels, and rifle cleaning patches. As always, you're going to have, you know, these are great. Everyone talks about multi-tools. You can use this to scrape off carbon. Be careful, because obviously this is hard anodized metal, so it is going to damage your coatings. So, you know, great for screws and stuff, but yeah, unless you're scraping off some serious carbon buildup, in which case I think if you're shooting your firearm that much without going to base, there's a problem that you should be thinking about. So yeah, just be careful with that. And there you have it. That is the basic rifle cleaning kit. Now let's go into spare components. Right, so spare components. I keep this with my cleaning kit because this is what I'm going to have in the field. This is very dependent on your firearm, what you're running. AR-15 and Glock is what I'm running, so these parts are going to reflect that. If you have an AK-47, MP5, MG49, MG40 Bravos, whatever it is, you know, L85, L129s, whatever, these parts are going to reflect that. So we've got the AR-15 kit right here, and what's in here is you've got your BCM SOP mod kit. I'm a big fan of that. Basically, this is all your parts that you can lose. You've got an extractor, you got your O-ring, you've got your firing pin retaining pin, you've got, actually I've got two of those firing pin retaining pins, spare cam, firing pin, gas rings, and then your extractor and extractor spring. So all those tiny little bits that can go missing. You're also going to see a cam and a bolt. I'm 50-50 on the cam. You should definitely have the bolt. I'm 50-50 on keeping. The reason is it's not often that a bolt's going to break, and if you're firing your weapon that much, you know, unless you've got like a suppressed Mark 18 that's very heavy on gas, it's very violent. If you're getting good quality parts, guys, carrying a bolt, it's up to you. I've got one in my kit for a demonstration, but unless I know, if I'm going to be out there for months, I'm going to take one. But you know, if you're doing like quick operations, 3 or 4 days, it's a really debatable part, right? Because if you lose it, you now don't have a firearm. Is it worth the weight and the space? That's up to you. That's up to you to decide. Big thing is, as you shoot these weapons more, that bolt face is going to mold to your chamber. You know, metals expand and contract. So just be aware of that. Again, up to you if you want it or not, but a decision that you've got to make. So firing pin's a must. Again, these BCM stock mod kits are awesome. It covers all the parts that could possibly break on this rifle, or you could lose while cleaning it as well. After that, where did I put it? All right, so in here we've got Alright, so next up we've got parts for the pistol. I'm not necessarily going to carry all of these, but it's kind of more of a demonstration. Parts of my pistol I'm going to carry are going to be my firing pin, especially on the Glock. You've got some composite components in there, maybe a spare spring. You've got a guide rod, backing plate, extractor springs. Again, if you've got a pistol, depending on how much you're using it, should you carry spare parts? That's going to be for you to decide. And there you have it. Everything in the cleaning kit, very extensive. You can make it more minimalist over here, or if you require more, you can add those. But at a minimum, this is what you'll need. And again, you can have one guy carry this, guys, and then it can serve a whole squad, and then you can just take turns cleaning your firearms. For crew-served weapons, you're going to need a lot more lubricant. You can also go with greases, like AK-47s love, what is it? The Lucas white silicone grease. The reason is the AKs spit out their lubricant, so you want a grease that slides. There's an old machinist told me that if it rolls, you want oil. If it slides, you want grease. So again, just something to consider. Some guys use grease in their AR-15s. I don't, personally. I haven't really experimented with it. I've always just been, you know, CLP. So there you have it. With that, I've got to clean one of the rifles, so let's go through a field clean. Right then, so she's been a dirty girl, so we're going to give her a field clean. First thing we're going to do is we're going to make some more working space for us. These mats are great. You can use a tarp, something similar, but just something to get all that dirt off of the, you know, you can get all that dirt away. Right, so now that we've got a bigger cleaning space, got our kit ready. First jobs, as always, make sure that firearm's clear. All right, nice and clear. Take your bloody gloves off, makes it easier. Okay, so I'm going to get our cleaning kit now. Let's see, got our paper towels and our toothbrush, CLP. Now we're going to put our gloves on. So again, we're going to give this a really quick field clean. First thing we're going to do is we're going to get our paper towel out. I like to cut a square of paper towel to put my bolt and charging handle on. And the first job we're going to do, I like to make squares out of my paper towel. But the first job we're going to do is, some guys use CLP depending on how dirty the rifle is. But we can just wipe down all the parts nice and simply. And this can get most of the carbon off. You know, you don't necessarily need lubricant. Although we're going to put some lubricant on today because again I want to demonstrate. Now we're going to take the bolt apart. Yeah, you can already see how much has come off of that. We're going to take a bolt apart. If you don't want to lose your parts, what you can do is we can use our cover and to put these parts in, or we can just use another piece of paper towel to place them on, but again, you could risk losing them. So today I want to demonstrate for you, so I want everything to be nice and clear. Get that up out of the way. We're just going to take this bolt apart. There's a firing pin. Okay. Again, we're just going to wipe these down. Now you can see how easily that's wiping off. I like to leave a thin film on my firing pin and inside the bolt, and that just keeps it nice and lubricated. Use the other side of the towel now. Keeps everything off it. You can see we've already pretty much killed a rag. Just going to get in there. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get some CLP. We're going to soak these in CLP to help get that carbon off. I like to put a little bit on the toothbrush. Looks like that's got to cut that off. Alright, so we got some CLP, some bio CLP fucking squirting everywhere. Got some of that on the rag. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to lightly film the entire bolt carrier group. What I like about a toothbrush is that you can really get in there too, in between all these gaps. You can actually, perfect size to fit in there. Yeah, nothing fancy, we're just coating the bolt and the charging handle. And the way CLP works is it's going to kind of eat away at that carbon. Again, the little trouble part. And again, I like a toothbrush because you can really get into all those spaces on the bolt. Okay. Now what we're going to do, we're going to grab another paper towel. Sorry if this seems a bit boring, guys. Again, like everything on the channel, I'm trying to go through the real basics of how I do stuff. Clean off the brush. You can see that's just residual off my hands. Now we're going to get some more CLP on the brush. Just a little bit. Again, always putting the cap back on stuff. We're going to come to our upper receiver now. And then I like to just brush the inside of the upper. Get it all in there. And then I like to do the same with the lower. Okay, so now that everything's coated, we can clean off our brush. There's no big build-up, so we're not going to use this guy, so we can put them back. Now what we can do is we're going to let these kind of eat away. We're going to let the lower eat away. And this is when our Q-tips come in, and this is how we're going to get the inside of this receiver around the gas block, sorry, the gas tube, and you're going to get, look at that, all those nooks and crannies. Can be a little bit time consuming, but this is what helps you get all those nasty bits in there. Get inside the chamber also. Now the chamber in AR-15s can be a real bitch to get. So one thing I like to do is I just get my pinky and I just fucking get it in there. And that helps clean it out. And now I just get my towel. I'm just wiping down the inside of that receiver. Again, just getting that carbon out, especially where that gas key is, because that's where all that gas blows back into the receiver. So this is when understanding how your rifle works is important, because then you can understand where the wear points are, where the wear points are meant to be, and where they're not meant to be. And I'll show you what I mean by wear points now. So this has been cooking. We're going to give this a good wipe down. Our charging handle. So you want to wipe it down to what's called bone dry, if that makes any sense. Bone dry. Okay. Same with our bolt. I'm going to wipe these down. The sign of a good bolt carrier is if the inside is coated right in there. You don't want any of that black nitride coating. You want a nice good chrome coating, self-lubricating coating inside there. Reason is that's where your gas keys are, sorry, your gas rings, and essentially where the piston of the AR-15 is. Okay, so now I can explain what I mean by wear patterns. On the bottom of the bolt, you've got wear from the magazine. On the side rails here, you've got wear, and then here as well. And we can actually look at the wear signs on these rails, and they should be nice and even. So my fronts are even, my sides a little bit less worn, but more worn on the backs, and a little bit more worn on this side, which kind of tells me that the rifle is pushing in this direction. If I look at my charging handle, I actually have more wear on this side. So, you know, a little bit of interesting wear patterns, nothing out of the ordinary. Just stuff that, you know, if you want to look into gunsmithing and stuff like that, is, you know, just interesting stuff to know and research, know if your weapon's getting a weird pattern, wear pattern. Okay, cleaning off the bolt now. And again, guys, I'm doing this in real time. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but it shouldn't take you too long. Again, you can see here we have our cam. You can see all where the wear on the cam is. You know, making sure that wear is even and distributed. On the back of the tail of the bolt there, you can see it's almost like a perfect line, and that's what we're looking for. Same with the bolt faces and the keys as well. You're looking for that even wear. Now we're going to come to our lower. Again, we're just wiping it down. Nice and bone dry is the key. What I like to look for on my hammer is a nice even spot, and then that's where it's striking the firing pin evenly every single time. And we'll get another, so we've already gone through, you know, 3 paper towels and 2 Q-tips. Getting down there in the magazine well. And then one last look at the upper receiver. Another thing we can do is we can get our towel, we can fold it in half, we can put it down there, get something thinner, and we can just go back and forth, kind of get down there and clean. You can see all that crap that comes out. Again, on top, you can see down there we've got a nice even wear pattern. And that's what we're looking for. Okay, so now all these components are good to go. Again, keeping it nice and organized. We can now get onto the barrel. So when it comes to cleaning the barrel, we get out our tools. Now you don't normally need all of these. All you need is, like, you know, size it to your rifle. So probably do one more. You know, when I clean the MP5, I only need like 2 of them. A little 8.75 inch barrel. We don't need our bore or chamber brushes. And again, this is why I love this kit. It's, you know, a lot of the military ones are so cheap. They're made of Chinesium and they break. This one, I'll put a link below. 0 problems, very, very good quality. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get one of our cleaning patches. The idea is, just like with these parts, we're going to soak them in CLP, and then we're going to let that kind of work, you know, eat away at that carbon, if you will, and then we're going to go from there. So we got a little bit on there. Oh, if I can spill it everywhere. Just get it on there. We're going to make sure that this is nice and loose because we don't want to damage that rifling. We're going to get it, and then we're going to push through. And I'm not holding this, I'm just letting it twist. And you can actually feel it twist. Then we're going to come back through, again, not holding it. You can see that on there. You can actually see how much carbon, if you get a nice clean rag and just wipe it, you can see all that crap right there. So what you're doing is, just mop up some of the CLP here. What you're essentially doing is you're doing this until it's clean. Now, in terms of what way does this go, you'll see the fold. I'm putting this side to the end. So essentially, so the fold is what's going down the barrel. I'm just going to push that through again, not holding onto it, and back through. And I'm doing that until I get a nice clean square. Again, folding it, and then coming through. This bit's dry now. See, it's a little bit cleaner. Obviously, guys, it goes without saying, if you're going to clean your weapons as a team, make sure you're not all cleaning your weapons at once. That's a recipe for disaster. There you go, coming through cleaner now. So, just to feel clean, we're going to get that done. It doesn't need to be absolutely perfect, but it does need to come out, you know, not black with carbon. So now what we're going to do, we're going to put away our clean patch. This one's relatively clean. We're going to put that rifle back together now. We're going to take down our cleaning rod to start. Okay, right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of CLP onto a clean portion of our rag, like so. And now we're going to lube up the parts I like to lubricate. The first one is the gas rings. I like to get it on there. And then around the bolt, I like to then coat the firing pin. So what you're looking to when it comes to coating is you want a light film. And then I'm going to coat the charging handle. We're going to put our bolt back together. Okay. That should be free. And then you should be able to stand it on its face. Oh, shit. There you go, there's all your work done. That's why you put down a clean surface. So I'll try to find a flat surface here. Again, it's kind of hard to do on a mat, but essentially you're going to get like a table or something, which you'll do the receiver. Get this on a flat surface. Try to demonstrate that to this guy's kind of on the fly, but you're essentially going to get a flat surface, and there you go. It should stand nice. And there you go. Bolt out. It should stand nice and flat, and it should, if it falls down, then you know you need new gas rings. So now that we've got that, wiped off that dirt, we're now going to lubricate the outside of the bolt. Again, we're not. It's a very, very thin coating, guys. Very, very thin coating. Then we can put it back together. Do a functions check. Good to go. So that is how you feel clean AR-15. Put that to one side now. Come back to our cleaning kit. That's clean enough, we can use that. You know, put that back. And then the rest of it, obviously, you're just gonna throw out. Put our CLP back. How long will one of those little things last you guys? You know, I mean, I did one clean. I would say probably about 3 or 4 cleans. Simple cleans like we just did here. But that's why it's a good idea to carry a big one. You know, like a bigger bottle for your squad. Now we can just get rid of all the rubbish. Alright, so what I want to do is give you guys an idea of how I actually clean these. So, the charging handle, you can see it's got the light film. We're basically getting this channel here, and then this hole where our gas key goes, making sure that that's all clean. And again, we're looking for wear patterns across the edge on either side. Coming over to the bolt, so again we've got our wear patterns across here, either side, and we're cleaning in and around any surface that the receiver makes contact with, especially these rails. We want nice and clean where our firing pin, retaining pin goes. And on the inside of here, you can see right there, we're getting in here. Now this is what Q-tips and these are great for, because you can get in there, you can give it a good clean. You want to make sure that that's nice and clean. The reason being is inside there is where our gas rings make contact with. So think of this. This is inside here, like that. That's a piston. And we want the seal around that piston to be nice and good. So we want a nice clean surface, and that's why we apply a nice blob of CLP, let the oil run around, and then we put it inside here, because then that piston is going to be nice and lubricated, and it's going to stop carbon from building up. Again, anywhere we see wear, we're going to want to apply lubricant. Get a Q-tip we can press up on the extractor here. Make sure that that has a nice spring to it. If it doesn't, you need to replace it. And same with the ejector. Make sure that that's got a nice spring to it as well. To remove this, the extractor, we're going to place our thumb on here. Poke this pin out. There's going to be a little spring and maybe an O-ring inside there. Be careful not to lose those. But on a field clean, you are not removing this unless it's not extracting and you see a ton of crap in there. You're going to see a little bit of red dye. That's normal. That's from the wax sealant, the dye that they use on cartridges. So, don't be worried about a red being in there. Firing pin, again, we're going to wipe down so it's nice and clean, and we're going to cover this with a nice thin film. Cam key, again, this we're cleaning well, but we're not lubricating it. By putting lubricant inside where the piston goes, it's going to get naturally lubricated as well. clean inside where the gas key goes as well. Q-tips are great for this. I like to get CLP on a Q-tip, get it in there, twist it, and then bring it out. And that cleans inside there. Just ensures a good mating surface when that gas tube goes over that gas key. Coming over to our receiver. So you can see down in there we've got springs. For this, what we're going to do is I like to put a tiny blab of lubricant on the springs. I like to use a Q-tip to get down in there and clean everything. I'll also fire the weapon so I can clean, you know, where the hammer catches and all that. So, you know, making it nice and clean. Also, underneath the bolt catch, you can clean under there as well. Coming around to the upper receiver. So the upper receiver is interesting. Reason being is we can get Q-tips down in here, clean off that gas tube, and again, we're just putting a nice light film of lubricant wherever there's contact with the surface you want lubed up. Inside the breech as well, getting Q-tips. This is why these picks are great, because you can get cleaning rag and really kind of get in there. Again, not crazy scraping, but you can get around the edge. So if I just, especially up top here, there you go, you can already see some gunk on the end of there. But also, this is why the mirror's good, so you can actually inspect the chamber correctly. Again, more of a specialty item, not really for the field, but a more detailed go over of what I'm looking for on these items. For the barrel, it's kind of hard for you guys to look down, but essentially what I'm doing is I'm looking. Let me get you guys a good view. Yeah, so it's not focusing, but so for the barrel, what we're doing, there you go. Alright, so the barrel, what we're looking for is we're not looking for any major dings, dents, or big bunches up of, there's a nasty tick, get out of there. So we're looking for no bits of carbon, no build-ups of brass. So we're using our rifle pull-throughs. Again, doing it dry at first, and then 2 or 3 of CLP to coat the barrel, let it eat away, and then we're brushing out through with dry ones until it's clean. Then I like to do one pass with a lubricated patch. The reason is I like to keep everything nice and coated, helps keep moisture away. If we're using copper cleaning solvent, then I like to let that sit and kind of eat away at it, and then pass that through as well. So here's a kind of first-person view up look at how I like to clean my rifles. Get out of here. Again, we're just coating everything, coating those gas rings. Okay, line up the cam key, and then that's going to leave it nice and lubricated, just as it should be. And again, you know, when you're at home cleaning these guys, your field clean is going to be very different to. This is awkward to do. About the camera. That's why. Make sure you got your bolt facing the right bloody direction. So, yeah, when you're doing the field, you know, don't get too anal with it, but you just want all these parts to be clean. And again, let lubricant be your friend. So, the charging handle. There we go. So guys, I hope that was helpful. Again, just kind of like a first-person view. I wanted to, you know, I filmed the original video and then I realized, hey, it's good to watch me from afar what I'm doing, but I wanted to give kind of a little bit more of a close-up first-person view of what it's like, or at least what I'm doing and looking for when I'm cleaning the rifle. But essentially, get rid of the carbon and then lubricate the contact points, take care of the barrel, and you'll be good to go. So there's a few other items that I want to talk to you guys about. So this is from Harbor Freight. You can get these. They're cotton swabs. Fantastic for cleaning the breeches of your weapon. More of an at-home thing, but yeah, you could stick a couple of these. You can see I got my Q-tips in there. Yeah, you could stick a couple of these into your field kit, but these are great for reaching into chambers and all that stuff. Great, again, for the MP5, this is a godsend. After that is going to be copper breach remover. So this stuff you're not using often, maybe only every 500 rounds, but this is to remove that copper buildup inside your barrels. Very important for maintaining accuracy. Again, with that, you're letting it sit and eat away at the metal, and then you're cleaning it out. You can carry one of these on your person or with the team. It's CLP. This is just break-free stuff, a bigger bottle instead of the little one that you saw in my cleaning kit. Lastly, after that, this is picks, metal cleaning picks. So these are actually dental picks. And these are actually hugely great for cleaning, again, chambers. They're a softer metal because they're meant to be used on teeth, so they won't eat away at your chamber. And also that mirror is fantastic for inspecting stuff. Again, guns like MP5, pistol, things that are fiddly, it's great. So just some other tools and stuff that you can have for the team or at home to help you clean and maintain your weapons. Guys, let me know what you thought of that. If you want me to do pistol, I can do that as well, but essentially the same principles apply. Wipe off the carbon, apply CLP, let it eat away at it, and then clean it, you know, with all your little tools and place stuff. And then you're going to apply your lubricant or grease onto any place where you see wear or friction for that matter. Part of your weapon is obviously your optics, lights and lasers. So when it comes to cleaning your optics, you get special optic lenses. You get what's called catnip, and that helps with anti-fogging. And then you have lens brushes as well. So you can carry one of those just to help clean your optics out. Stuff like night vision scopes and thermal and observation optics. Again, it's part of your weapon system, so I just wanted to kind of slide that in here also. Keep your lenses clean, keep them in good serviceable condition. Be very careful not to scratch them. A lot of modern lenses have these anti-coatings, but again, just be careful, guys. Just use your common sense. You know, these are very delicate surfaces when it comes to optics. And I always imagine that that's my eyeball, because essentially it is. So how would you treat your eyeball if you had to clean it? You probably want to go in there with sandpaper. So as with all my videos, I reached out to my friends that do this stuff professionally and full time and have a lot of experience doing it. So I reached out to them and I asked them what is some advice for us that they can give when it comes to maintaining our weapons. And here they are now. So number one is keep your dust covers closed, keep your magazines in. Again, don't purposely get your rifle dirty. Sometimes you can't help it, but keep those orifices of your rifle closed. Next up is going to be, if you are in a dry environment, don't use wet lubricants. He said use greases, which again makes sense. You know, wet lubricants attract a lot of dust, whereas grease can kind of eat that dust. It doesn't attract it, but also allows the firearm to function. Now, contrary to a dry environment, he said that when you're in a wet environment, make sure that you use a lot of lubricant. Oils dissipate water, so the more lubricant you have in a wet environment, obviously the less water and corrosion you'll get into your firearm. So if you're in a wet environment, make sure you use a lot of lubricant. Moving on from this is going to be, if you're in a cold environment, make sure that you use a lubricant capable of the cold. Military CLP lubricants have a temperature range, so when you're going into a cold environment or extreme cold, make sure that you're using a winter lubricant. Guys, when it comes to your rifle, I recently sent my ACOG out to Trigicon to get serviced. As with all maintenance, it starts when you're at home, it starts when you're at base. Don't maintain your weapon only when you're in the field. Take good care of it and it will take good care of you. So if you have optics, if it's a good manufacturer, consider getting those optics serviced. If you know that if you're going to go on deployment or if you've got something coming up like a competition, make sure that you get those optics serviced. 5 years is a service time for the ACOG, and Trigicon did it for free. So if you look at your optics, if they are getting old, don't be scared to send them back and get serviced and refurbished. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time. The channel's growing. I really appreciate all of the support. I'm out here doing what I love, hopefully bringing you guys some amazing information. So Share this with your mates. You know, it's really important, the weapon maintenance. It's a little bit, it can get a little bit tedious, a little bit boring, but it's extremely important. When you look after these machines, as with anything, as with all your kit, anything we talk about, if you look after it, it will look after you. How often do I clean my firearms is a question that'll probably be in the comments, or one that I'm asked often. I am a little bit anal with my equipment. You see how I present myself. You've seen my equipment on camera. It's all pristine. It is all pretty well used, but I keep very good care of my gear. So my rifles I clean after every range session. I pretty much at least give them a wipe down. When it comes to my magazines, do I clean the inside of them? My SMG mags, they get very dirty with those delayed blowback systems. I clean those magazines. But honestly, your rifle mags, unless you've dropped it in mud, there's no reason to really take apart or clean it. Maybe every, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, if you're using that magazine, you should take it apart and clean it. Again, don't take that as gospel, but I have modern magazines, modern spring technology. It's extremely good. So when it comes to cleaning your magazines, don't worry about cleaning them as often, unless, again, you drop them in dirt or you're taking them apart anyway and you like to do that while you watch, you know, these videos. For closing thoughts today, I just want to thank you all so much for the support, for the shares, for all the comments. This community we've built over the past month, 2 months, 2.5 months has been absolutely incredible. So guys, going forward, even though it says in my bio, I want to be open and honest as I always am with you guys. And that's, I am not some high-speed guy. I don't consider myself a veteran. I've got training through the British military and enlisted in the United States Marine Corps, but I got injured very seriously. I'll do a whole video on my story and everything in the future. But I was injured, I was forced to be medically discharged. So this is my passion. I'm not I'm not an end-all be-all. Please don't see me as that. I'm someone who got training and never stopped practicing those basics. And I've had the amazing ability and blessing to have friends in very professional fields all over the world. And what I've done is I've taken all that knowledge collectively and trained it and practiced it since I was very, very young. So with this channel, don't see me as an end-all be-all, rather a place where you can go. It's a collection of knowledge, and I'm packaging it and presenting it to you in forms of what is essentially an online manual. That's the goal for this channel. I want this to be a place where we can all learn, practice our passions, do what we love in a very kind of honestly professional classroom environment. So guys, do what you love. If anything, if you want to see me as anything, see it as, you know, if you keep practicing what you love and what you're passionate about, you can get good at it. And, you know, some people might disagree with me with this, but being in the military is not a prerequisite to enjoy these skills. Especially as young men, it is our responsibility to know these skills. This is no different than practicing with a longbow or a sword 200 or 300 years ago. So if you're a young man, military or not, make sure that you're practicing and training these skills. And if you are, build a community, come together and get better for doing it. All right, guys, thank you so much for making it to the end. I really appreciate it. Amazing things to come. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next one.